Hey, what's going on, guys? This is your boy Austin, and usually I'm on the channel Lifestyle Edit. But the people over at Serene Tree asked me if I could help them out and answer a few questions regarding their new products of THC-O. So what do you say we jump right in?
Hey, how's it going, internet? My name is Sean. I'm from a YouTube and Odyssey channel called Zoobox. Check it out.
Hi, my name is Alexis Starr O'Neill. I'm a 420 friendly lifestyle, spirituality, mindset, all types of content YouTuber.
How's everybody doing? My name's Sweeter from the Sweeter Spots, and I'm here today to tell you a little bit about THC-O.
Now, the first question you might be asking is, what is exactly THC-O? Well, THC-O, also known as acetyl Delta-9 THC, is a synthetic cannabinoid that they get by extracting and synthesizing Delta-9 from the hemp plant.
And if you were to go check out some of the proponents of it, the people that have been kind of espousing its virtues, trying to get people to try it, they say that it's about 3 times stronger than Delta-9 and that there is the potential for things like hallucinogenic or auditory experiences beyond what you would normally find with kind of your Delta-8, Delta-9, Delta-10 products.
But it's said to be at least 3 times stronger effect-wise. It is definitely psychedelic. I'm saying it definitely makes colors more vibrant, and you could start seeing things a little bit different. Highly euphoric. And I want to say it's more like a all-body, good feeling high.
Now, my experience with it, the first word that would come to my mind is presence. I never felt like I skipped a beat. I never felt like I lost any of my mental acuity. It is much more of an indica high. It's a cerebral experience. You definitely feel a sense of kind of euphoria. You can feel it kind of creeping in and rushing in and stuff like that, but it's never incapacitating. And I would say I did a pretty good amount of it, of both styles, which we'll get into. I did a pretty good amount of it, and I never felt kind of out of sorts, I'd say. You know, I use a lot of the other stuff as like I said, sleep aids and whatnot, and that stuff really kind of settles in, and that's like deep and heavy. It feels more traditional. This one felt a little bit more what I would call like a walking around high. I feel like I can get things done on THC-O in ways that I don't always feel with something like a Delta-8 or whatever.
My first time trying THC-O products was actually with Serene Tree's cookies cartridge, ice cream cake, disposable cartridge, and some gummies. So I was able to test it out in different forms and see how it affected me. Like I said, THC-O is a cannabinoid. It's similar to Delta-8 and 9, except that it is a lot stronger. So I feel like Delta-8 and Delta-9 products affect me in a way that is more mild and like kind of just easy to do any kind of task through. But with the THC-O, yeah, those hit me way harder, especially the gummies. So
Now, some of you that have had Delta-8 in the past, you might be thinking, well, what's the difference between Delta-8 and THC-O then? Well, Delta-8, not only is it a little bit harsher for me on my throat, it's also usually kicks in instantly, as where THC-O has a delayed reaction. So for me, THC-O usually kicks in between 15 minutes to an hour. As well as Delta-8 is only supposed to be about 0.5 times the psychoactivity as Delta-9, or 50%. THC-O seems to be a whole lot stronger. You might be thinking, well, Austin, the way it kind of sounds, it sounds stronger and delayed. It kind of sounds like a edible in that sense. Well, THC-O in edible form is even more different. For me, the THC-O in edible form, not only does it take longer to kick in than normal edibles, but it also kicks in a whole lot stronger, and that is where I personally had my psychedelic experience, which was in my dreams. I had around 150 milligrams of THC-O, and instead of having a nightmare, I had a crazy dream.
THC-O compared to Delta-8, I would say THC-O is at least like 5 times stronger than Delta-8. Delta-8 is more of like a mild cannabis, kind of like a Reggie, so to speak. And THC-O is more like, if anything, like a really strong sativa that is just really euphoric and is really gonna get to those stress levels and like those things that are blocking you in your mind type. thoughts, you know?
I personally did not have any hallucinogenic effects or, you know, like visuals or anything like that. It was more of like a cerebral high for me. I ate 3 of the gummies and then I was walking around in Target and I was just so giggly and so smiley and everything was so funny and everything was just so colorful and like fun in there.
As far as this difference with like you know, THC-O and Delta-8, I kind of went into it a little bit, but I would say it's kind of a night and day for me personally. The experience that I had with it, like Delta-8 will really put me on my ass, put me on my butt, and I don't feel like I can actually like get a lot of of life stuff done. You know what I do? Basically, I take some Delta-8 to help me fall asleep and stuff, but what I ended up doing recreationally, like I'll probably eat some potato chips, play a video game until I can't anymore, but mostly just watching movies. I really enjoy watching movies on it. THC-O, as far as like doing that kind of stuff, also worked really well. I do a movie podcast, so I'm always watching movies and taking notes on movies, and I felt like I could have that, was able to lock in, but I was able to be productive while I was doing it. Like when I do Delta-8, I'm not sitting there taking notes. I'm just like I'm totally just sank into the couch, just locked into the screen, just enjoying it in that way. But this, doing it with THC-O, I felt like way more on the ball, way more capable of doing what I needed to do. I guess that would be a good way to put it.
I would say the activation for THC-O varies sometimes. I would say like from the THC-O from Serene Tree, it activates within about like 10 to 15 minutes. 15 minutes is when you are feeling great.
Also, I feel like they kicked in a lot quicker. Now, this may also be because I've been eating less lately, so maybe, you know, having less food in my system may have affected that. So I just want to throw that out there. But they kicked in about like 20 minutes for me, and usually with other edibles it could be like an hour, 2 hours. So that's personally how it affected me. Now my boyfriend, my fiance, actually, getting used to saying it, he actually took the same dosage and it did not affect him as much. So now he is bigger than me, you know, he's eating a lot like, you know, a man. So yeah, for him that dosage was not that strong. So to each their own, but for me, like I said, I was just very giggly.
As far as the effects, how long it took to kick in, like I think like it took a little bit longer than I was anticipating, actually. Even smoking it, even the vape version of it, like took a little bit longer. You know, with an edible, it's kind of par for the course, you know, an hour to 2 hours, maybe 2.5 hours. This was about 2.5 hours. I think that was pretty much the longest I've ever done with an edible like this for it to kick in. But once it did start to kick in, you felt it kind of right away. And that ramp up to that euphoria happens very quickly, but it sustains for a long time. I would say the effects of it, and I did about 75 milligrams on my first time with it, and the effects of it kind of maintained for about, I'd say, 4.5 to 5 hours. I was able to kind of actually stay awake and ride through the whole experience, and because I didn't have that sense of sleepiness. It's not something that made me want to go to sleep because I was too high or whatever.
Now, as for the pens, they were also really strong. The gummies were my favorite, to be honest, but that's just because the taste, and they were just like easy, you know. I don't often vape too much, but those pens, and both the cartridge and the disposable, were way stronger than I feel like the Delta-8 pens I've tried, or even just like THC pens in general. I feel like they were really milky when I hit them. I was using it on the lowest setting on my pen, so I honestly didn't bump it up because I felt like it was good there, you know, why fix what ain't broke. So I use it on the lowest setting, milky clouds, very freaking potent. Like, I would take a few hits and I was good to go. I didn't have to be sitting there and hitting it all day. Like, a few hits and I was good to go. So yes, it is a lot stronger than the Delta-8 and Delta-9s. I really enjoyed the type of like euphoric, just happy high that I had. I'm naturally a really mellow person, so you know, being chill and laid back is like my natural state, and eating edibles or doing anything that makes me like really sleepy is like not my vibe. So I really like that it didn't like make me crash, like I said. So
well, in terms of the experiences, the difference between smoking it and eating it, I would say that the only difference I would say is regulation. You know, when you smoke it, when you do the vape side of it, it's a lot easier to kind of regulate the experience because you have more full control over how much you're taking in. Now, it doesn't hit you right away. It has to kind of sit with you, and I would say with the vape, it happens pretty quickly. It doesn't take 2 hours. It kind of like, it was like maybe 10-15 minutes before I really started feeling it. I mean, you feel a little bit at the top, like as you're smoking it, but then it kind of rolls into it, almost a little bit more like an edible high, because you feel like you're eased into the experience a little bit more than when I've smoked other vapes where it just feels like, whoa, I'm high right now, right away. This was a little bit more of a slow creep, so be careful with that, especially if you're new to these kinds of products. Just because you don't feel it immediately does not mean that you should go power smoke or eat 4 more gummies or whatever.
I would say a trick for new people that are trying THC-O is try to hold in your hits as long as you can so you can get the effects of the cannabinoid the best. A lot of people say to not hold in the hits and everything, but I say try to take a hit where you just hold it in for a second, see how you feel, and then take a hit when you hold it in for like 3 to 5 seconds. You're gonna feel a little bit more toasted after. Your eyes are physically gonna feel a little bit hotter. And I would definitely say have water near you because THC-O does dry you out more than cannabis. And definitely have some munchies either before or at hand because it's gonna make you hungry as hell. And I would definitely recommend that you smoke it at a lower heat, but just to try it out in the beginning if you are a beginner, but just because in the beginning you might not know how much you're smoking. It does take a little bit to kick in, so you don't want to be too blasted when it all hits at once. So definitely just try to keep it out of heat.
There is a few tips and tricks that I did want to go over with you guys. Most importantly, that THC-O itself is a very viscous product most of the time. So with that being said, it has a low boiling point. So you want to make sure if you're dabbing it or using a vape device, you want to make sure that you use it on a lower voltage because it's not going to take near as much heat as it usually does in order to get your product to vaporize. And also, if you are someone who dabs, just like myself, I would recommend putting it somewhere in a cool place, a cool, dry place, because not only can it convert slightly faster, but it's also putting it in the fridge will help it with the consistency for dabbing ease.
In terms of like if you're new to this kind of stuff, just make sure that you kind of got nothing to do, that you have an open night. Like I said, maybe pull out a movie you like a lot or something you've wanted to see, maybe play some video games, maybe watch some videos on the internet, maybe go to Zoobox, check out some of the Zoobox videos, and just be open to the experience and be open to the ride. So that would be my advice if you're new to it, is just kind of go with the experience. Don't feel nervous. Don't feel any sense of anxiety. Make sure you just have a clear docket and that there's no expectations put on you. And don't have any particular expectations for the experience other than having a good time. Other than getting a little high, feeling a little goofy, feeling a little effervescent, as I like to say, and just enjoy it. Enjoy the experience.
And all in all, THC-O is the most comparable to Delta-9 for me. Gives a really nice happy effect, and the duration and how long it lasts is just pretty incredible. It truly is. If you take it in high doses, you will start seeing colors differently. Your mind will start thinking all these amazing things. Creativity will go through the roof, and the spaced outness will be on a whole nother level. I mean, I'm zooted on THC-O right now, and I'm feeling great. I'm smoking on the 3-gram THC-O ice cream cake cart, and it's pretty tasty. It's good. THC-O, at the end of the day, it's really fucking good.
Yeah, that was my experience with the THC-O products. I really liked them. I would definitely try them some more, and I really appreciate Serene Tree for sending me over my first THC-O experience. All right, peace and love, baby.
My name's Austin. My channel is Lifestyle Ate a Diet, and this is Serene Tree. and this is their THC-O. That being said, I'm out.
So yeah, I really enjoyed my time with THC-O. I really enjoyed the experience, and yeah, that's gonna do it for me. I'm Sean from Zoobox. Thank you so much for listening, and hope to see you around.